Good morning.
Good morning.
And my goal today is to, and I prayed for this for some time, that God will help me this morning to exalt the name of Jesus, our incredible Savior. And in fact, Dana was kind enough to let me do this. And this will be the first sermon of a series of 2. Okay? I would like to share with you what some of the truth from the Bible that impact my life spiritually tremendously. And so this is the 2 part. The first part is who am I? For me was very important to know who I am first. And the second part is who God is. So these 2 things help me understand the truth of the Bible. And we start today with who am I? Okay? And if we take a look in the world today, lots of issues, lots of challenges. We have challenges in our lives, is that correct? It could be financial, it could be health, it could be relationships. And we ask, why is this happening? Sometimes when they have a tragedy, why this happen? And we know the answer, but I would like to call your attention to some points in this history. And we will start with how things started on the earth. Why we got to where we are today here on the earth. This will give us an idea of who I am. And then we will go and analyze the cosmic event that created that problem here. So those 2 things, and we'll see the 2 kingdoms. That will be the introduction from the sermon for the sermon next 2 weeks from now. So God started creating man. He created man perfectly, then created woman. Chapter 1 and 2 of Genesis, and everything was perfect. And in chapter 3, there is the fall. Chapter 2, God says, don't eat of that tree. That was the order. And they decided to disobey God, to go away from God. And they fell. And this is what we read in Genesis 3, 9 to 10. But the Lord God called the man and said to him, this was after the fall, where are you? And he said, I heard the sound of you in the garden. I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself. So before this, man and God, they were together. They were in harmony. And now man is free from God. He doesn't want to have anything to do with God. After sin, we don't want to have communion with God. So that was the first consequence. Then he said, who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree of which I commanded you not to eat? The man said, the woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me the fruit of the tree, and I ate. So I don't know. The woman you gave me, she gave me the fruit. It's not my fault. It's either you or the woman. The need of justification, because now man is uncovered. This is why he feels naked. He's naked. There's no justification what he did. He's now condemned. We'll see here in verse 17. And to Adam he said, because you have listened to the voice of your wife and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. In pain you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Before, we didn't have to work to live. Today we have. Even if it's a curse, it's a blessing today because of world sin. But the ground, see that the ground, even the ground doesn't produce. There are weeds and lots of things. If Sergio does the gardening, he knows how much work this is. Because there's lots of things that don't go right because of sin. And then he said, by the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. For you are dust, and to dust you shall return. Then there is death. You will all die. And that's the consequence of what happened with Adam, for the decision Adam. And this was transferred to us by inheritance. So we inherited that situation. And this caused three problems. Three problems. One, man is condemned now. Man cannot live the life that God planned originally for him. Can man pay for his sins? Yes or no? Can man pay for his sins? Yes, he can. How? By dying. The wicked, the ones that will not be saved, they will pay for their sins. The saved, Jesus will pay for it. Is that correct?
Praise God.
So, man, the only way for man to pay is to die. But then to die, there's no life anymore. It doesn't mean anything. So, to save man, something different has to happen. Okay, so the condemnation is the first one. The second problem is the sinful nature. Now, I have the sinful nature. My nature, natural person, is against God. I don't want to have anything with holiness or with God. I don't want to be just. I'm originally self-centered. I only think about myself. I don't think about other people. So this is my nature that lives inside of me. And this became like this in Genesis, there in the beginning. We don't go out killing people and doing this because the Holy Spirit and the angels, they influence us so we don't do crazy things. But there will be one day that the Holy Spirit will be taken from the wicked, and so we will see strange things happen. Okay, let's take a look on one text here. We don't need a lot of Bible text for this because we know by our own experience. So now it's no longer I who do it. This is Romans 7. But sin that dwells in me, sin dwells in me, in each one of us. For I know that nothing good dwells in me, that is, in my flesh. For I have the desire to do what is right, but not the ability to carry it out. For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I keep on doing. So this for me was an incredible discovery that I am a sinner. And if I came from other religions that taught that I could do things to be saved. So I am a sinner. I have sin inside of me. And I like this text from Ellen White in the book Education. The result of eating of the tree of knowledge of good and evil is manifested every man's experience. There is in his nature a bent to evil. In each one of our nature, there is a bent to evil. A force which unaided. What does it mean, unaided? By ourselves, we cannot resist. I cannot do anything good by myself because I am a sinner. Sin lives in me. He can find help in but one power only. We can get help from. That power is Christ. Cooperation with that power is man's greatest thing. Cooperation means there's something I need to do. But Jesus is the source. Okay? The third one is death. Who are looking forward to your death here? Nobody likes to die. You know why? Because God created each one of us to live forever. This is why we don't accept death. But that's interesting that there where the problem happened, the fall happened, in that same chapter, God put this. Genesis 3:15. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. Now, man was the king of this earth. Everything was created for him. Because he fell, now his desires is for Satan. Now Satan now becomes the king of this world. Jesus refers to him as prince of this world. So man do by nature what Satan wants him to do. And God says, I will put enmity. God gives the initiative. Okay? God goes after us. We don't go after God. We are fleeing from him. And God takes initiative. Go after us. He will put enmity. And this is the start of God's kingdom, the kingdom of grace. So there are two kingdoms in battle here. The kingdom of Satan and the kingdom of grace. This kingdom of grace will be ratified only when Jesus died. And we'll see this in the next message. Oh, sorry for this. Okay, so there are these two kings. We'll take a look more on this. Anybody knows who he is?
Phelps.
Huh?
Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps. Okay, who is Michael Phelps? Michael Phelps is the most decorated Olympian in the whole history. He received 28 incredible 28 medals, 23 of those gold. It's absolutely incredible. But you know what? He has a problem. He had a problem with self-confidence. And he, just after the London Games, when he had already received most of his medals, he said he was having mental health issues in substance abuse, drug abuse. He was pushing people away, people that he loved and people that he needed. It's interesting how someone that wins 28 medals in the Olympics has a self-esteem problem. But this is what he had. He was dealing with depression. Until one day in 2014, he was arrested for driving under influence. Okay? And that event was what changed his life. And this is what he says, that he then, at that moment, he realized he needed help. Until that point, he was not thinking about that, but at that moment, he realized, I need help. And he went to rehab in 2014. And before this, he was saying, I do not want to see another day. I felt like it should be all over. Isn't it incredible? Rehab in October 22, 2014, he said that when he went to this rehab, the first days, he cried himself to sleep every single night. Then he recovered. What this has to do with us? Until we, as people, don't realize we need help, nothing will happen. Until we understand that we are sinners, that sin lives in ourselves, we cannot do anything. This is why, just using Genesis, this is why salvation cannot be by works. Because I cannot do anything. Is that correct? Not only this, there are some ideas there that the people in the Old Testament was saved by works. This cannot be possible as well. Since the first sinner until the end, all of them will be saved by faith in Jesus our Savior. Everybody that will be there will be because of this. There will be nobody that will be saved by this. But now let's take a look at the cosmic event that originated that fall of man. Yeah, kind of unknown. This Ezekiel 28, 12, 13, and to 13. And this is lamentation over the king of Tyre. But if you take a look, you were in Eden. Verse 13, you were in Eden. So he's talking, the prophet is talking about the king of Tyre, but he's looking to the force that is influencing the king of Tyre. And that force is Satan. And he says in verse 13 there, you were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was your covering. On the day that you were created, they were prepared. Everything was prepared for him. And then it continues. You were an anointed guardian cherub. I placed you on the holy mountain. And there, verse 15. You were blameless in your ways from the day you were created. So he is a created being. To unrighteousness was found in you. The Bible doesn't explain why Satan did this, why Lucifer did this. The Bible just says you were perfect until unrighteousness was found. The sin and all the problems originated with him and was transferred to this earth. And if you go to Isaiah 14 and talks about, let's go 14, 13, and it says, you said in your heart, see that Satan was special, was the most incredible creature in the universe. I will ascend to heaven above the stars of God. I will set my throne. So he wants a throne. He wants a kingdom. On high, I will sit in the mountain assembly in the far reaches of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. So he wanted to be like God. He's not, but he wants to be. And he wants to have that kingdom. He wants to be worshipped. He wanted to control people. How this started? If you go to Revelation 12, 7 to 8. Now war arose in heaven. War. Michael and his angels fight against the dragon. And the dragon and his angels fought back. But he was defeated. There was no longer any place for them in heaven. Dragon angels against Michael and angels. They were defeated. Okay? Michael's Jesus, by the way. We don't have time to show why is that. But Michael is Jesus. And here in verse 9, and the great dragon was thrown down. That ancient serpent is called the devil Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was deceiver, lies. Is that correct? He was thrown down to the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. So that battle that happened in heaven, that started there, that sin that started inside Satan, he was expelled, and then that battle transferred to the earth because Adam accepted suggestion of Satan. And now that battle happens here. There are two kingdoms. Kingdom of God, kingdom of Satan. And God is making inroads in the kingdom of Satan. He wants to make the kingdoms of Satan, the citizens of Satan kingdom, to be citizens of Jesus' kingdom. Take a look. I will not read this. Here's the third temptation of Jesus, where Satan says, oh, I will give all to you if you worship me. So Satan, in his mind, everything belonged to him. Now let me show you this other text from Colossians. God has delivered us from the domain of darkness, or the kingdom of darkness, and transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son. God is working in making inroads in Satan's kingdom, taking citizens from his kingdom, transferring to Jesus' kingdom. There is this battle between these two kingdoms, between these two kings. Okay? There's a text from Ellen White here that I like to. She talks about at the birth of Christ, what happened when the angels came. Satan, Lucifer, knew Jesus from heaven. He knew who he was. And he was the creator of the universe. He's the commander of all the hosts. He never imagined that Jesus would come here to save this world. He would put himself through this. This was a surprise. And he says there in the middle, he had controlled the minds and bodies of men from Adam down to the first appearing of Christ. He was the king of this earth. And then he says, but now Satan was troubled and alarmed for his kingdom and his life. Oh, the king of the universe is coming here. This is serious business. Okay? This is a tribe in Peruvian forest. I would tell about the story of a tribe, but it's not that tribe. I couldn't find the original tribe picture. But that night, they heard a horrible, horrible scream. And everybody in the tribe, they went outside. What's happening? What's happening? And another scream, even worse. And they saw next to a tree, there was Alfredo. Alfredo screamed like possessed by 1,000 demons. His face was contorted. His eyes were wide open. He was foaming from his mouth. On that night. We'll get back to that. But how did this start? Well, everything started that night that he couldn't, a few days ago, that he couldn't sleep. Because he had a fight with his wife. Because his wife was going to a Bible study. And, Alfredo, he liked to drink masato. Was a drink based on yucca. And he chewed coke leaves. And he liked hunting. And he liked doing strange rites. Because he was the witch of that tribe. Okay? For him, killing was nothing. All the time he was ordering this guy will be killed. And they performed the killing. And life for him didn't have any value. Okay? He could not allow his wife to go to those Bible studies. Alfredo did not believe in the Bible, obviously. He remembered that a few years ago there were a few of his tribe that became Christians when an American missionary came to preach the gospel. And one day he was there in the forest. It was a beautiful forest. He was just resting there next to the river, and he was admiring the sky and the trees, and he was so happy. Oh, this is so beautiful. And suddenly a thought came to his mind. Oh, my wife. Oh, she's doing this Bible study. Those Protestants. I hate those Protestants. And his wife had changed a lot. He had lost his authority. Then Alfredo heard a shout, a scream from the river. And he saw motorboats kind of hit a rock there. And a lot of people, they were trying to save themselves, and the natives are going inside the water trying to save people. And he was looking, paying attention to everything. Then he saw something black in the middle of the water. He said, whoa, might be another person. So he jumped in the water. And when he got there, that was a Bible. And he thought, Bible? How can a Bible float to it? And the tribe was very superstitious. This might mean something. Is God trying to say something to me? The best way maybe is to study the Bible. And he started studying the Bible. As he studied the Bible, he saw his ideas being demolished one by one. And then one night he had nightmares. Against his will, he was taken by an invisible hands from his cabin. He was a slave of the devil. On that night that we start the story, he heard the devil laugh. The devil would not give him up easily. Alfredo could not breathe. He was terrified. Then the Christians heard his screams on the tribe, and they went there, saw Alfredo, and they knelt down and they started to pray. There was a battle happening there. Alfredo was screaming desperately, and the devil threw him to a tree. There was a battle. Then Alfredo, in a certain moment, mentioned the name of Jesus, and then the devil left him. He was trembling, but he knelt down and thanked God for the free power of Jesus.
Amen.
Pastor Alejandro Bullion was there after a few days or weeks visiting that tribe. And he was at the house, having a meal. The wife of his host was serving him a very nice meal. And the host came and said, "Pastor, can you pray for us?" And that one was Alfredo. Okay? So this shows the work that God is doing, removing people from one kingdom, from the kingdom of Satan, moving to Jesus' kingdom. Okay? This is doing all the time. And it doesn't matter how desperate is the situation of the citizen of Satan's kingdom. If they accept Jesus, God can move him from this kingdom to the other. I would like to show a comparison. Let's see a comparison on the two kingdoms here. Okay? Satan's kingdom, Christ, Jesus' kingdom. Satan's kingdom, controlled by sin. Everybody's controlled by sin. Jesus' kingdom, everybody's controlled by the Holy Spirit. Satan's kingdom, everybody that's in that kingdom will die. Everybody that is in Jesus' kingdom will live forever. Satan's kingdom is force control, the principle. Jesus' kingdom, voluntary submission. We just serve him because we love him, and we do it because we want. Satan's kingdom is based on lies. Jesus' kingdom, truth. Satan's kingdom is based on hate. Jesus' kingdom is based on love. Satan is a creature. He was created. Jesus is the creator, and he's God. But Satan is proud, and Jesus is humble.
Praise God.
You know, the key for solving all the problems that sin created is in this verse here. There are many other verses. I just chose this one. 1 Peter 2:24. He himself, Jesus, bore our sins in his body on the tree, that we might die to sin and live to righteousness. By his wounds you have been healed. So he paid for our sins. He could pay because he's the creator. You could say, well, but he's just one person. How he could pay for the sins of everybody? Because he's the creator. In his body, he has the power to recreate the whole humanity. So the creator, God, had to die for us to be saved. And also, he also solves the problem of the sinful nature. Because we trust him, the Holy Spirit can work on us and fix our issues that we have. This is incredible. This is the biggest demonstration that Jesus is real. Is that my life is being changed. People's lives are being changed. There is absolutely no arguments against this. And then at the end, Jesus will come a second time. And then we will live forever. And this is our hope. Is that correct? That he comes to this earth. And we cannot imagine how incredible this will be. How incredible things we'll learn. How incredible people we'll meet. We are looking forward to that day.
Amen.
And this comes to our text, a scripture reading. And this will be the introduction to our second sermon 2 weeks from now. The one who conquers, I will grant him to sit with me on my throne, as I also conquered and sat down with my Father on his throne. This is Revelation 3:21. This is a promise to the seventh church of Revelation. One thing we take from here is the one who conquers, I will grant him to sit on the throne. In heaven, there will be no losers. Everybody that will be there will be winners. No losers in heaven. But also, if you take a look, the one who conquers will conquer because Jesus comes, as I also conquered. We'll be winners because Jesus is winning, not because of ourselves.
Praise God.
Is that correct? Because we'll be winner because of what he did for us, not what we do for ourselves. Okay? And we will sit in Jesus on his throne. I would look forward to that. Sit with Jesus in his throne. The same way that he sat in Father's throne. Can you see how deep and how tender is his love for each one of us? He wants us to sit in his throne. This is incredible. Jesus is our salvation. How do we get Jesus' power? How today we get Jesus' power? To be transformed and to trust in him and to be part of his kingdom. We can do the same thing the disciples did. The disciples also were transformed, was transferred from one kingdom to the other. And what did they do? They just communed with Jesus. Is that correct? And Jesus was transforming them. They didn't know, oh, I have to do this or that, but they just spent time with him. And this transformed them. How can we, and they heard his teachings and they saw what he did, and we can do this by studying our Bibles. The Bible will change my life. I was not a Christian in the true sense. This book, I love this book because it changed my life. I don't know where I would be today. This book has the power to transform lives because God is the one that is behind this. The second way, the disciples went to Jesus to talk, to ask questions and interact with him. Prayer. Life of prayer. The prayer is not to ask things. Prayer is to have a communion with him. Interact with him. The third one, do what he tells you to do. Jesus will tell you, do this and do that, go talk to that person. Do what he tells you to do. Just follow. I pray always, Lord, I work for you. I don't work for my company. You are a far better employer than any company can be. So I work for you. Tell me what to do. I would like to do your will. I know I am broken, I have lots of issues, but only you can change me. Only you. I would like to experience this, to be just you, like Paul was, like Daniel was. And when there is tragedy in our lives, when there is uncertainty, when there is issues, when there is sin, I hope that we go to Jesus. That's the only one. We cannot do anything. We can pray to him. We can wait on him. He is our Savior. I would like to close with, if you allow, personal testimony. Some of you know part of it. And how I got to know Jesus. I was looking for the truth since I was 7, 8. And one day I met a friend in college, started studying the Bible, and I fell in love with the Bible right there. I never heard that the Bible was the truth. That was an incredible discovery. I'm looking for the truth, and the truth was right there. And I accepted the truth of the Sabbath. And I decided that I would be faithful whatever the cost. I got accepted in one of the 2 top schools of engineering in the country. I said 2 because the other schools were represented by Sergio. Otherwise I would say the top, but I want to say respect him and never put the 2 top. That school was my parents' dream for their son. Okay? It was so significant, that achievement in my life at that time, when I was 17, that the relationship with my family, my friends, and my relatives all changed. I was a child, and now I was admired by everybody. Nobody in the family had ever achieved this. I trusted in myself. I was proud. Added to this, being raised in an Asian family, you Asians know this. For Asians, it's not just okay to be good. You have to be the best. There's a competition issue there. Okay? So I was really proud. Then a problem happened in the school. That's true. I had a problem in the Sabbath. Then now, at 17, I had to choose being faithful and lose the school of my dreams and impact my future, or give up my faith. Those were the 2 that I had to decide. Then I had a problem with my father. My father couldn't believe on that. He said, I curse the day you met this Adventist fellow. And he was, this is ridiculous. How you give up this achievement just because of this? It's not because of religion. This is ridiculous. And the pastor visited him, and I thought my father would punch the pastor in the face. And I couldn't see this. And I said, you know what? I cannot take this. I will go on the Sabbath. I violate the Sabbath and go until the end of the year. That was. And I went with my conscience very heavy on this. Having the knowledge I was doing everything wrong. But at the same time, I was looking for other churches, articles and things like that against the Sabbath, that I can calm my conscience. Or maybe there will be an article that will convince me that this Sabbath thing is wrong. And then that I'm okay. During the entire year, I didn't find anything. I looked for articles, I read and things like that. But those doesn't make any sense. And the year ended. But I was embarrassed. My ego was hurt. I was feeling like a loser. And I thought that I lost my spiritual journey because of that. Because I was weak. I failed. And I continued for some time until I found a text. I think it was in Patriarch and Prophet. Prophets and Kings. I couldn't find it again. But the text said the following. God sometimes allows us to fail, so that we could see our defects of character. But He gives us time to fix it. So this made a huge difference. So I'm not in the wrong journey. God is just telling me where my problem was with pride. That we are nothing. Sometimes we look at ourselves and think too much of ourselves. You know, one time that's very dangerous is when we are successful. that's a huge danger. We can think that we did it by ourselves. And we have to be very careful. And then I learned about that we are sinners. We don't have anything. We cannot do anything good. Thanks to God, His incredible grace, that I can live in this. That I can live, that I can love my family, that I can love my kids, that I can do good things. Because of Him, because of what He did for me, because of His Holy Spirit. Every day I ask twice for the Holy Spirit. And thank God. God, thank you for your, where I would be without the Holy Spirit working in me. Okay? I'd like to ask my son, that I love so much, to come here start playing. I always like to finish my sermons with a musical message, and I would choose the singers always very carefully. Never imagined that one day would be my children that would be singing. But I would like for us to think two things. Because I'd like to ask you to make a decision today. One, if you saw through the Bible that we are sinners, we cannot do anything for our salvation. This is the first one. Second one, that Jesus is the center of my life. He's the creator, He's the savior, He's the one that came here, left everything for us. Why Gary plays the song, Man of Sorrows. That's Jesus. Think about this. Your decision. This is important. Your eternal destiny might be in the game now.
Sorrows, Lamb of God, by His own betrayed, the sin of man and wrath of God has been on Jesus' slave. To the Father's will, He took the crown of thorns. Oh, that rugged cross, my salvation, when your love poured out over me. Now my soul cries out, hallelujah. The very ones who nailed Him to that tree. Oh, the rugged cross, my salvation, where your love poured out over me. Now my soul cries out, hallelujah. Praise and honor unto Thee. Now my debt is paid, it is paid in full.
is John 15:5. I am the vine, you are the branches. The one who remains in me and I in him produces much fruit, because you can do nothing without me. May God bless us. I would like to you thought about those two things. If you recognize you as a sinner, you cannot do anything. But Jesus can do everything. I'd like for you to stand, please. You know, how much of us have assurance of salvation? How much of us? It should be all of us. You know why? Why we can be sure about salvation? Because our salvation is not in our hands. Salvation is in Jesus' hands. Okay? And He is incredible. Let us pray. Dear Lord, I'd like to thank you so much for your love for each one of us. For this incredible love that sent your Son here to this earth. That love that gave Him to us. Dear Lord, we don't know anything. We are sinners. We need you, dear Lord. And we thank you so much because one day you called us. And this is why we are here. We are worshiping. Dear Lord, this is not a play. This is not a habit. This is serious. We are making decisions for your kingdom. We ask that you bless each one of us. Give us your power, the Holy Spirit, in each one of us. That we could decide and trust in you only. And not only this, but you can use us to bring other people for your kingdom as well. Dear Lord, I'd like to see Jesus coming very soon. It seems that it took so long that we don't think about this anymore. But we would like to have the privilege to see Jesus face to face. We ask that, there are maybe some issues happening here in families. We don't know. You know what it is. In each one of our hearts here, there are concerns. But we ask that you put your blessing of the Holy Spirit. I claim now the blood of Jesus shed for our behalf. That you work in each one of our families, in our hearts here. And we trust in you. And we all be there because we trust in you. Stay with each one of us. Bless us as we go home. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen.